The Second Sex Myths, Chapter 1, Part 3 by Simone de Beauviour. There are many senses in which the sprawling edifice of modern feminism can be considered as built on the foundations laid by Simone de Beauviour in The Second Sex, written in 1949. Beauvoir's analysis of women's subordination proceeded from the assumption that men viewed women as fundamentally different from themselves. In being defined as the other, women were reduced to the status of the second sex. The masculine is accepted as the norm. Humanity is male, and woman is defined not in herself but as relative to man. Never as an autonomous being. She is the incidental, inessential, as opposed to the essential or the basic. Many of the best known writings of the second wave of feminism could be seen as a set of variations of this theme. In The Second Sex, as stated earlier, Beauvoir's analysis begins from the assumption that man has always seen woman as the other. But there can be no presence of the other in the real sense unless the other is recognized as a consciousness which is both separate and also identical with the self. In this sense, the other is seen both as the subject and also as the object. But since the earliest days of the patriarchate, man has always seen woman only as object. He is not prepared to let woman become subject. Because women have never set themselves up as subject, they have never projected myths of their own. A myth always implies a subject who projects his hopes and fears towards a sky of transcendence. Women still dream through the dreams of men. Gods made by males are the gods they worship. But as man's essential other, the woman herself has become a myth. The myth of a woman as created by man. This myth of woman will not end until women assert themselves as human beings. At the root of many myths about women, there lies the ambivalent feelings of security and fear in man, who sees the woman as his other and also nature. He is both born of her and also dies in nature's lap, who as the earth receives him after his death. But since the coming of the patriarchate, man also sees himself as consciousness, as spirit, and as a will. Man is the seed, and nature as the earth, and woman is the receiver of the seed. As an extension of the metaphor of the seed, the will of man, man is the creative principle. His goal therefore becomes the liberation of the spirit from the body which is earth, nature, or woman. Since man, the absolute spirit, has to yield to nature or woman, man suffers from a guilt complex. He is haunted by the fear that in yielding to the powers of woman, who represents flesh, man has become a sinner. This mixed feeling towards woman has generated several myths about childbearing side of the woman in many tribal societies. Every aspect associated with childbearing is associated with the feeling of impurity. The girl remains impure during the days of her menstruation. The woman remains impure for the certain days after childbirth. Again, there are woman myths. Women have the power to hear mysterious voices. She can communicate with birds and spirits. She is the medium reader of palms and cards. The dead men and gods spoke through the mouth of woman. Man created these myths because subconsciously he saw woman as source of danger, and she inspired terror in man. Since the coming of the patriarchal regime, man has become the master of woman. Those very powers which are frightening in wild animals are transformed and become valuable qualities for their owner once these animals are domesticated. Similarly, the dangerous powers of women became the qualities admired by their master, man. Virginity was admired. Man began to find in women bright stars and dreamy moon. But this happened only after woman was made the property of a single man. It was only then that she was regarded an object of beauty. In the Nazi Germany and in ancient Sparta, woman was for the state and not for the individual. So, in these societies, woman was not adored for her beauty. Under the name of fashion, woman's body was not allowed to remain useful for the woman. Long neck, slender waist, small feet so distorted the woman's body that she could remain only a thing of display for her master. A new type of myth came into existence with the birth of Christianity. Woman's figure now became spiritualized. She had now become the soul of the group, the city, the nation, that was the Virgin Mary. Man also perceives his mysterious double in woman as Psyche. The role of pity and tenderness has been assigned to her. She is Eurydice, whom Orpheus seeks in hell. She is Cinderella. Woman has also become a mystery. As a mystery, man cherishes even the defects of the woman. Woman is Maya. She is Sphinx. The civilized man wants that his wife should surrender herself completely to him. She should accept his point of view. She should yield to his arguments as coming from a superior intellect. But she should not do so without offering any resistance. The wife should argue, but then she should come around to her husband's point of view. Also, the woman myths have been treated differently by different authors. Thank you.